Sports fans, do not miss our live NBA draft show on Thursday. We'll have me, college basketball insider Adam Stanko, and Dave Dufour going through the strengths and weaknesses of each pick, plus examine how they'll fit with the team that drafts them. We'll be live on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live, so mark your calendars for the best draft coverage anywhere. Jayson Tatum of Duke is another freshman one and done, and for good reason. Standing at 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan, Tatum has tons of raw talent and physical gifts that, at first glance, make him a lock for the NBA. Let's dive into how he attacked during his time at Duke. His most common category is isolation, which was weird considering this is the Mike Krzyzewski team. And he's pretty good at it, ranking in the 68th percentile when going one-on-one versus his defender. Notice how deliberate he is on the catch. It is much more common to see him take his time, survey the defense before going into his move. While he did go to the hole off his ISOs, it was usually to score off a lesser athlete in ways that won't necessarily translate to the NBA. He does have a good handle and is generally under control. Check the nice inside out behind the back into a hop jumper. His game is definitely a throwback to an earlier time, where catching and jab stepping were the norm, and a nice little crossover step back jumper looks pretty smooth. But not attacking on the catch allows the defense to catch up and the help to clog the lane while he's busy holding the ball. More throwback as he gets a face up in the mid post, and this Neville-like jab step is a really good move, and I can see this working for him at the next level. This jab step pull up to his left allows him to get space to shoot over his smaller defenders, but it remains to be seen if he'll be able to do this against NBA guys and find success. Spot up was his next most common category, and this is where he got the most catch and shoot opportunities. His mechanics look okay, but watch how his left hand likes to fly out away from the ball. This can certainly affect rhythm and balance, which is why he was merely average from three-point land. He's generally a 1-2 shooter and was able to find good rhythm and a nice sway of his feet forward on the release. But all too often, he'd interrupt the natural rhythm of the catch and shoot, causing the slightest of pauses to lead to misses. Rather than catch and let it fly, he'd think about it and end up fighting the momentum of his body. When he did get everything in alignment and with proper timing, the jumper looked smooth and accurate. Notice his left hand doesn't fly away from his body here. When he wanted to attack the hoop, unfortunately it was so deliberate that he'd waste time and allow his man to get back into position. He gets free throws, but needed the ref to bail him out. Look at the difference when he attacked right off the catch. It gets him right to the middle of the lane where he can use his length and good touch off the glass. Again, another attack on the catch that opens up a lane and his sweet floater across his body, a shot he'll definitely need in the NBA. In transition, I like how he can handle the ball to lead the break. He isn't very fast and his footwork is a bit inefficient, but he shows promise as a secondary ball handler in the NBA. He just needs to work on finishing. I like his running posture for the most part, but something looks a little stiff. It seems like he can get going in one direction but struggles to change direction in high speed. He does have a nice sense of changing speeds and hitting his man with a good inside-out dribble, but often his last step isn't very explosive, enabling defenders to challenge him in the air. These moves should end in dunks and finger rolls at the rim, but instead rely on the refs to give him a call. On this finish, you can see that he just doesn't explode off that left foot and would probably benefit from jumping off both feet more often. He scans the floor well and shows evidence of some real polish, like this beauty of a Eurostep off-foot finish. He didn't post up nearly enough for my taste, even though he was an elite post-up player. I do not like his initial footwork here as his man leans on him and he crosses his feet. But when he does regain his balance, nice spin move to the baseline and finish off the glass. He really liked that right block and would abuse smaller defenders with a nifty Dirk leg shot. I could see him playing small forward and having an advantage down there with his length and soft shooting from close if NBA coaches give him the chance in the modern offenses they run. While turning over your right shoulder allows you to get better alignment to the hoop, it also requires you to get separation and elevation over your man to get it off, and he definitely has that. Tatum's passing ability was pretty average. Most of his assists came off very easy reads and decisions, but every so often, he'd display a little flair and exceptional court vision to make you wonder if he could expand this part of his game. If he got drafted to a team that allowed him the freedom to post up and send cutters, he could be a viable playmaker down there, more than we saw in college. And while he doesn't attack on the catch here, if he does manage to get by his defender and find the cutters, he'll be a legit NBA player. His defense didn't really impress me for a variety of reasons. He was in a good stance initially, but then drops the left foot back and allows middle penetration. Good recovery, but then can't contest this shot. He also likes to get his head a little too far forward, meaning his weight is leaning too much towards his man. He'll also get his feet too wide, which enables his man to get some daylight. Good recovery here, but he'll be facing much better talent in the NBA. Duke switched most of the pick and rolls he was involved in, so he has experience defending smaller guards. He did like to reach in way too often, and NBA guards would destroy him if he got caught doing that. Again, he reaches in on the point guard, and this will be his downfall in the NBA unless he learns to stop doing it. But his long arms are very useful, enabling him to give his man an extra step before rising up to contest shots in the air. Most of his steals came from help defense, where his length comes in handy, where he can afford to swipe at the ball when he's not the primary defender. It's possible he could be effective in this position, but most guards in the NBA would not get ripped this easily by a defender helping one pass away like this. He did have the knack for sneaking in and knocking balls away to consistently get steals, however. So there you have it, sports fans. There is certainly lots of promise for Jayson Tatum. He's got the physical tools to enable him to be a solid NBA player, and I suspect it'll take him a while to get used to the NBA and adjust to the speed and athleticism he will face on a nightly basis. I'm not sold he'll become a star in the NBA. It feels like it's very dependent on which team he ends up on, but if the stars align, he'll make the team that he's on pretty happy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell to turn on notifications so you can get all of our great content hot and fresh. We've got tons of scouting videos, and don't forget our live show this Thursday during the NBA draft. You in?